from the New York Post editorial board, even a guilty verdict won't end Hunter Biden's entitled arrogance. And that's probably true. Why would he stop now? For the better part of 50 years, he's been the completely corrupt crackhead son of the president. And I guess he wasn't corrupt for the entire 50 years, but I'd say at least half of that. And now he's convicted on 3 charges, even though he's suspected of doing at least 10 or 12 awful things. And there's another story from the Washington Compost about how the Hunter Biden verdict proves that there's no two-tier justice system, and it absolutely does not. It only proves that you know about the two-tier justice system, and you're willing to sacrifice the president's son to make people think there is no two-tier justice system. And for the record, this is maybe apples to oranges, but there's a recent clip, and Beau Biden is slipping all the time, to put it nicely, but there's a recent clip of him, giving a Juneteenth speech where he just slurs so bad, nobody can actually understand what he's saying.
Attacking the values of diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you can believe it, banning books about black experiences. Okay.
But that's a different story. My name is Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
It would help me a lot, and it would cost you nothing. But if you wanted to help me even more and spend a little bit of money, go ahead and buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say, it's a sign of Hunter Biden's entitled arrogance, fully supported by the First family, that he even insisted on a trial in this beyond open and shut case. All right, fair enough. I don't like Hunter Biden just as much as the next man, but I think you do have to do a trial, right? Could you imagine if they were to just say, oh, you're guilty, lock him up with no trial? That wouldn't work. After all, he wrote in his own book about all the drugs he was taking at the time he signed that federal gun permit form. He plainly figured he might get off, that at least one juror in Biden-loving Delaware would be intimidated by the power appearance of First Lady Jill Biden and the rest of the Klan in the courtroom, or taken by his heartbreaking story. And we also know that Beau Biden did say, I'm not going to pardon my son.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes.
Even though we're unsure on that, and some people are saying that he might pardon his son and then step back from the race, and that's going to be the cue, the perfect opportunity for the Democrat establishment to switch somebody else in. Nor will this be the end of his chutzpah. Once sentenced, and federal sentencing guidelines suggest a good chance he won't get prison time, he'll likely appeal, probably by arguing that this law, passed with help from then Senator Joe Biden, violates the Second Amendment. And that's pretty crazy too, right? Now they pretend to care about the Second Amendment. Now they want to play it by the book. Of course, this is still the least consequential Hunter case. He's soon headed to California to face federal charges for dodging taxes on much of his overseas income, a prosecution that gets much closer to the family-wide corruption of Biden Inc. And so there you have it. He's convicted in Biden-loving Delaware, and now he's going to California to face charges for tax evasion in California, of all places where they absolutely love taxes, and they're going to bleed the people dry to, I guess, give some crumbs to the bums, and the rest is going to get filtered through the pockets of bureaucrats all over the place. It will be interesting to see how juries and the judge in that case will take his willingness to obfuscate the court system and lie. Let it not be forgotten that Special Counsel David Weiss, years of bumbling have already let Hunter skate on the most serious charges. Tax violations related to huge payments from Ukrainian firm Burisma, etc. And once again, it wasn't that long ago, there was articles all over the place of how corrupt Ukraine was, but fast forward a year or two, and that's been completely memory hold, and Ukraine is standing up for freedom and democracy, and we must give them all of our money. Plus, Weiss initially offered Hunter a no-jail plea deal that would have protected him on all these charges, only to see it collapse when the judge started asking questions in open court about this unprecedented arrangement. Ironically, President Biden gave a speech on gun control later Tuesday. Yeah, so the hypocrisies are all over the place. Constantly talking about gun control, constantly talking about tax. Pay your fair share, Jack.
But all I'm asking is pay your fair share. Pay your fair share. Pay your fair share.
But then, of course, Hunter Biden violates all of that stuff. If he's not as out of touch as he seems, he'd be wise to say of the verdict roughly, the jury decided my son has made mistakes because of drugs. He faces the consequences. I'm not going to do anything about it, and I love him. Somebody in this family needs to start showing some humility. Yeah, that's true, but it probably won't happen. And this couldn't be any more clear, a clear-cut case of glaring hypocrisy. You could have done any number of things that Joe Biden hasn't been harping on concerning guns and paying your fair share, but he just doesn't want to do it because he knows, of course, he is completely entitled. And from the Daily Beast, sorry, MAGA, gun criminal Hunter Biden is good for Joe. So the New York Post has the opinion that Hunter Biden is incredibly entitled, but the Daily Beast believes, actually, that's a good thing. And maybe it is, because these people are so despicable. Up is down, left is right, man is woman. So him being as criminal as possible is actually good for them. And this is from Alyssa Farah Griffin, who I believe used to work in the Trump White House, and of course is now on The View. And they also use this term MAGA. They're constantly throwing this around. They're trying to make it like a pejorative. Oh, MAGA. Like MAGA just means anybody who doesn't hate Donald Trump at this point, right? Oh, sorry, MAGA chuds. It's like, dude, what are you guys talking? You're trying to make this work. Stop trying to make it work. It's not going to work. MAGA, by any stretch of the imagination, is just make America great again. That's literally all it stands for. And then they put the T on the end and try to talk about maggots. These people are absolutely disgusting. But she says, the impact of a second Trump presidency and the threat he represents to democracy. She got all the talking points, quite obviously, are on such a huge scale that MAGA's obsession with Hunter Biden looks ever more absurd. Yeah, MAGA's obsession, or your obsession with just saying, using the letters MAGA as a word, as a pejorative. After Donald Trump's criminal conviction on 34 felony counts and Hunter Biden's criminal conviction on 3 felony counts, I've decided I am not voting for Donald Trump or Hunter Biden. And there we are once again. Look how bad he is. We lobbed 34 counts, and 34 is what he got convicted of, but they lobbed more than that at him. And we never talk about the case in Georgia, right? I mean, that was a whole to-do. Big fat furious Fannie Pack Willis, but now it doesn't even matter anymore because we're more worried about Fat Alvin Bragg's case in New York. So, Hunter only has 3, right? That's how low the bar is. In all seriousness, we are living in a remarkable moment in history when a former and possibly future president is a criminally convicted felon, and the sitting president's son is now also criminally convicted. Both facts have major implications for both the presidential election, but also the future of America's institutions. And that's what they talk about too. Oh, democracy's at stake. Our institutions. Like, yeah, when you say your institutions, your weirdo money laundering scheme that Alyssa Farah Griffin is obviously getting a kickback from. But Trump supporters celebrating Hunter Biden's conviction are doing so way too soon and way too ridiculously in political terms. The conviction benefits Joe Biden, not Trump. Okay, whatever. Spin this however you want. Twist yourself into a pretzel to make sure that everybody knows Hunter Biden getting convicted on 3 gun charges, even though he's accused of several other things. It's actually a good thing. And you want to talk about celebrating, right? Aren't you on The View, lady? Right? Whoopi Goldberg, all of you, there were people, I mean, it's gone hugely viral of people celebrating and talking about 34. And of course, they don't even know what he's guilty of. Now, we do know what Hunter Biden is guilty of in this particular case, right? Smoking crack while also holding a gun. Following Trump's criminal conviction, Trump and his allies were quick to say that we are living in a banana republic with a rigged justice system being weaponized by Joe Biden against Donald Trump. And next, his supporters. Yes, that's absolutely true. And Anybody with two brain cells to rub together can see that. Now, if you want to just say, hey, I am a partisan, I don't like Donald Trump, so I don't care what happens, just put him away because I've been so brainwashed, you can just admit that. But don't pretend this is on the level. This is the angle she's coming from, is that like, see, this proves that there is no two-tier justice system, and it absolutely does not. In fact, I could make the argument that it only proves that there is a two-tier justice system, and this is you guys trying to prove that it's not, and that's why you're pretending that it's a good thing for Beau Biden. But that's just how low the bar is. You have created a criminal out of Donald Trump to tear him down and distract from the criminality of the Biden regime, and they're so awful now that Hunter Biden getting convicted of 3 gun charges is somehow good. Meanwhile, Trump getting convicted is good for him because everybody can see the weaponization.